Hello everyone! In this video, we will discuss the current situation on the market, the next PAM on Bitcoin, and how it can end, what can be done now. So, let's look at the current situation right away, because it's a very interesting point. There was a range here, on a small time frame, and we made a deviation from the bottom, returned to this range. It was possible to try an aggressive long position with a stop for this level and the target for this long position of the upper boundary of the RAI, that is 27,300, so locally Bitcoin most likely goes here, that is 27,300, and here we will need to monitor further pricing, as the weekend is ahead. It is unlikely that we will get an increase of 28,600 right from the current levels, and most likely we will see consolidation, and above this level, we can look closely at short positions. But now back to the ideas from the previous video. In my understanding, it was logical to see the continuation of this downward movement after the rollback to the target of 25,600, but in the end, Bitcoin received another pump and broke through this level on a small time frame. I also considered several stages. Here it was logical to see the fractures of this level, so it was possible to try a short with the goal here, and after this fracture, to change into a Lange with a stop for a new Louis with a goal of at least 26,500. But in the end, the price rose much higher, and in this zone, it was logical to consider a short position that would come out on the stop. Therefore, despite the fact that Bitcoin worked locally, a little not according to plan, the most important thing is that the current growth gives even more confidence that Bitcoin will still come to the level of 28,600, where all participants in the market will have the opportunity to go out at no loss if they bought Bitcoin for $28,000. And personally, I plan to consider the hat short position against my spot positions here, because they are in a drawdown. And if we still get a massive drain from here, then the drawdown will increase, and this short will somehow compensate for it. Whether we will go to 34 and above is still difficult to sell. This will be understandable if we break through the level of 30,200. But for now, we are aiming at 28,600. Therefore, for Bitcoin, while such thoughts, let's look at the dollar index. There is also an interesting situation here in the Telegram channel. I noted that another potential reversal was being formed, but in the morning, everything looked much more beautiful, because here we had an imbalance. At the moment, it is essentially leveled, and the reversal is not so beautiful. So again, everything can end with a new high. But if you look at the ENSER 500, then specifically it looks very good, and everything here suggests that we have also received a reversal and will move higher. There are a lot of goals from above. We have a priority in this balance sheet, and the SEMP 500 suggests that a reversal can really happen on the dollar index, which will also have a good effect on cryptocurrencies. Next, let's look at the altcoins. Let's start with the Ether coin. There is also no obvious reversal here from above, and in general, I would like to see a repass of this level, that is 1,690. After that, we may see a good correction over the weekend. On an older time frame, it is worth noting the goal of $1,700, which has not been achieved at the moment. And it is here that the Ether strives, and this is only a conservative goal. More optimistically, it is located here. It is 1,800, which is equivalent to Bitcoin at 28,600. If we talk about the goals for correction, then I would allocate this balance to them, respectively, about $1,640. Well, in the last video, I also noted that it is not necessary to update this LOI at all, and the Ether looked very good, unlike Bitcoin. So let's quickly get back to Bitcoin. Here we see a good correction, and in principle, you can try a long one if it is still relevant with a stop for this level. The goal, let me remind you, is here 27,300. But while we continue to consider altcoins, the goal has not changed for the Near coin. It is 1,276, and accordingly, while we are below this level, we can safely accumulate this tool, as well as the Dot coin, because there is a similar situation here, and the goal of $4 to $4, which is as relevant as possible, and we should come to it in the nearest a month. Therefore, you can earn money here very easily, and in the short term. Next, let's look at the Salen coin, and this graph is very similar to the Linkcoin graph. He also came to the medium-term support zone, hung out here for a very long time, accumulated, and then we saw the momentum. Accordingly, it is logical to assume that we can see a very similar situation with the message as with the Link coin. But at the moment, there is a conservative goal for Solana. This is 22.3. Therefore, at least here, we definitely have to grow. Well, and immediately look at the Link coin. Let me remind you I sold 30% here, returned this 30% in this zone, sold this 30% here, and planned to buy back on corrections. But there was no correction. It's okay, because the position still remained the main one, and the goal for it was 9 and 6. But anyone who follows the Telegram channel knows that I sold 20% of the remaining position and poured Aptos into the coin, because the link has grown very much relative to Aptos. Let me show you a graph. This is a Captus link. That is the same as Ether to Bitcoin, and my purchase was on the 18th of March at this price, and at the moment, specifically for the Aptos link coin, it has grown by 160% specifically in my case. So I decided to sell the limp coin to Aptos. And if we see a correction of 30% or more on this chart, I can safely return to the link by increasing the number of coins. And I will do it if by this moment, that is, by the time of this correction, the link does not reach the goal of $9 and $6. And let's explain with an example how this graph works. If now the link coin will stand still, let's say it will cost $7.85, and the Aptos coin will start to grow, then accordingly, here we will see a correction, and Aptos will become more expensive in relation to the coin. Link, this is exactly what I expect to see, especially considering that exactly the opposite has happened before. In other words, the link has become more expensive for the Captus. And if we consider this chart from the point of view of technical analysis, then we have an impulse, a correction, and arrival in the problem zone, from where it is logical to see a correction of this impulse already. Therefore, it is very likely that I will be able to increase the number of link coins in this transaction. At the same time, it does not matter how much these instruments cost to the dollar. This is what you need to do in the midst of a bear market, when everything is constantly falling against the dollar and you are in a drawdown. But due to such manipulations, you can increase the amount of a particular coin in your portfolio. Well, let's go back to the link coin, to the dollar. We have not seen a correction here. The instrument continues to grow, and it is not yet clear whether there will be a correction at all. But the most important thing is that there is a very obvious goal of 9 and 6, and in my understanding it will be achieved in the near future anyway. And if there is a correction, then the link definitely needs to be returned or typed if you did not have this tool. And according to a survey in the Telegram channel, I know that many people do not have this tool in their portfolio, although I have said in almost every video that it is a very strong and confident tool, and it is one of the few tools that has been trading as technically as possible all this time. And so far, according to the link, we have an impulse, a correction, and a new impulse, which should go above $9 or $6. But if you buy a link coin, then this support zone is still relevant on a deep correction. Here we have a problem area, respectively level 647. If we get a correction to this level, then I will also make an additional purchase. Then the coin AAMX. This instrument continues to roll away after the pump, and now I would be watching this fracture, that is 0.55, and would be looking for a long position in order to come to this zone, that is the level of 0.60t. What will happen to the instrument in the medium term is not yet clear. Personally, I'm just watching. Let me remind you, here I made a purchase on this pump, sold it, but at the same time, I still have a position that I was gaining in this sideways, and I need to fix it at a price of $0.9. So I'm waiting for now, and I'm not making any additional purchases. Well, in the AA end, let's look at the Aptos coin. It is the instrument into which it poured from the link, and it also looks very attractive to the dollar. We are on local loyals. Here we see the work with liquidity from below, with a huge number of goals from above. The most conservative at the moment is 6.4, and until we have achieved this goal, the tool can also be safely accumulated, and if Aptos gets growth to this goal, while the link will stand still or will fall, obviously we will see a deep correction on the Captus link chart, and in this case, I will be able to pour Aptos back into the link, increasing the number of link coins. And I will do so if the link is not worth it at that moment, $9.4. And finally, let's go back to Bitcoin. If the price is approximately in this range after the video is released, you can in principle try along with minimal risk, with a stop for this level with a goal of 27,300. This video is coming to an end. Do not forget to subscribe to the Telegram channel. Thank you all for watching.